Hello everyone, welcome to, I was about to say welcome back, but this is a new kind of thing, so welcome to Dear Dance. If you've watched past episodes, you might be a little confused, especially because the intro video still says dancers doing stuff. It's a soft rebrand. It will gradually be coming to you. So right now the show is technically called I don't even know. It's called Dear Dance. This is the new name. This is the first episode, so officially the first episode of season 2 of Dear Dance. If you are an OG listener, you will know it as Dancers Doing Stuff, but we are growing, we are changing, we are reflecting, and I'm really excited. So, my guests today, plural, we have 2 guests, starting season 2 with 2, are amazing people, amazing dancers. We have Porshia and Yvonne, and they are like so cool. I met them on Clubhouse, and like back when that was like poppin'. I don't know if it's still poppin' because it's offloaded on my phone because I have no storage because Apple's trying to get me to get that new phone. But they both train and are involved in H+, the Hip Hop Dance Conservatory, which I am so excited to talk about with them. It sounds like such an amazing organization. They do so much good work for dancers and for hip hop, and it's just so cool. So I cannot wait to talk with them about the techniques that they train in, the H Mart, the dancers' groceries that you might have heard about and not believed it was real. It's real. I thought it was too good to be true, so I'm so excited to talk to them about that because I need to go because I need some real food, not like snack food all the time. So I'm just so excited. They're amazing, and I want to share a video of them dancing because they're awesome, as I said 400 times. So check out this video, and then we're going to bring them in. So cool. What? Like the energy? What a way to start the season, right? Okay, enough of me blabbing. Let's bring in our amazing guests. Yeah.
Hi, Haley.
Hello. Hello. Welcome to Dear Dance. It's so hard for me to get used to saying that.
Dear Dance. We got this.
I need to rehearse. Amazing. Well, before we get into everything, I'm really excited because you guys are together. So that means that the craft for today, it's kind of a game. So you might have played this, and it's a secret. They don't even know what they're doing. So this might have been something that you did when you were younger. This is kind of a fun thing. So if you have a piece of paper, you can fold it hot dog style to make 3 separate sections. Do you know what we might be doing?
I'm not sure.
Ooh, okay, so we're going to be creating a drawing all together. So I'll just be virtually with you, but at least you guys are together. So you are going to actually only need one piece of paper because you guys are in the same place, which is awesome.
Oh, perfect.
And one of you is going to be the head of our creature. One of you is going to be the body of our creature. So the way that you fold the paper, so at first, and you're gonna have to try not to look at them while they're doing it, okay? So we'll have to trade papers. But someone gets to be the head, and then fold that over, and so then you give it to the next person. They can't see the head, and you're gonna draw the body, and then I'm gonna draw the feet on my own over here, and we'll just like hold it up there at the bottom. So all together, we're making one creature drawing, and you can let your heart go wild. You guys are creative. I know that you both put drawing on your Google form of things that you like to do. So while we do that, since I think we should be able to multitask, it's been hard in the past, but we're gonna try.
Multitasking, that's what we do.
Yeah. So I would love to talk about your dance history, your relationship with dance, how you got into dancing. So whoever is the body drawing person, how about you talk first while the head draws?
Okay.
Amazing. Amazing. And you get to pick.
Okay. Do you want to be the head or the body?
I want to be the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, the body.
Yes, body.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be drawing a head right now.
Okay, amazing. I believe in you. You can do this.
Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, so Porshia, tell me everything about your whole life. You're from Long Island. How did you get into dance?
How did I get into dance? So I started out watching music videos with my brother on MTV, BET, VH1, all of those amazing streaming channels back in the day. It sounds so ancient. But we were witnessing the come up of such amazing artists, in parallel with some iconic artists like Janet Jackson, we are part of a rhythm nation, and Mariah Carey, and Michael Jackson and Paula Abdul, and I was just so mesmerized by these amazing people on stage, but even more mesmerized by the incredible dancers behind them. It's just so in sync with so much energy and really captivating the audience, and really making that front person shine. So I ended up taking my my parents' VHS tapes, VHS, another old school thing. Yes, and I would record all these different music videos, and I would replay them over and over and over and over again, and learn all the different choreography. And then I took it one step further. I said, hey, now that I've got the choreography down packed, now I'm going to learn who all of these different dancers are on stage. I'm going to do some research on their history, their background, understand their styles, so that when I see them in another music video, I understand that connection. Or if they have choreographed a music video or a tour or a production, I can immediately know, hey, that's a piece by Tina Landon, or hey, that was definitely Marty Kudelka, or hey, that was definitely, Rich in Tone. And that was kind of the come up of my dance beginnings, just really seeing these incredible, figures on stage and just wanting to be pretty much just like them.
Yeah, how did you even do that research? I mean, now it's so relevant to right now. There's this whole conversation going on, right? About can you just tag the dancers? It's not that hard. But this is before Instagram, social media, that. How did you go about that? That is really impressive, because it's unfortunately, especially with commercial dance, the documentation, the historic, documentation, it's not really easily accessible to people.
It's true. Yeah. For me, it was doing a lot of research through tour books. So, like, when you would go to concerts
Cool.
at like Nassau Coliseum or Madison Square Garden, I would always beg my mom, please, can I get Janet's tour book because I need this material because this is part of like my dance research. And in all of these different
Wow.
tour books, like she had all of her dancers, pretty much listed
That
their
makes
names.
sense.
They were in there, posing, with her, just all sexy and such. And yeah, that was kind of like my collection, my archives, my research during that time to like understand who they were, and their like history moving forward.
That is so cool. I have to say, I've actually never been to like a concert, which is like kind of crazy. Like I know that that sounds crazy.
Oh.
I I've never been to like one of those big arena concerts. So like I didn't even know tour books existed. That is so cool. It's like that's so cool. Now I want to go. Like I wonder if they have them at the art library at Lincoln Center. I need to do some research if they have any of those there because that would be really
Oh
cool to
yeah,
look
that's
at.
true.
I
I'm
need to do
sure
some
they do.
research. Anyone out
Sure.
there? Yeah, that is so cool. Okay,
Thank you.
so Yvonne, I don't know if you are capable of drawing and speaking. I think you probably are.
I actually just finished.
Oh, amazing timing. Look at that. Dancers and timing. Killing it. Amazing.
Wait, hold on. Wait a second.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hide it and pass the torch.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm passing the torch.
Can't see
Okay,
anything.
so how did you get into dancing? I know you're from the Bay Area, if I am researching correctly. So how did
Yes.
you start dancing, and then how did you make it all the way over to the East Coast?
Yes, good question. How did I start dancing? I just feel like I have been dancing since I came out of the womb. I have this like really vivid memory of me as a child at Chevy's, like that Tex-Mex restaurant. I don't know if you remember. They would like they used to have these like mariachi bands that would come in on Friday and like play music. And like I was at the restaurant and I remember all of a sudden like they just like abruptly like started and I just like burst out of my chair. I was like 3 years old and I just like ran over to this like the neighboring table and like grabbed the person's fork and was just like waving in the air and like dancing.
I
And my
love
mom was
it.
like coming over like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like she was like really embarrassed and I was like, what? I don't understand what's wrong. Like I'm having a good time.
Totally,
So like I always tell that story because I feel like I just always was like inclined to move my body and like wanting to just like experience music, through movement. So but yeah, like my mom, she was very fortunate to be put in ballet classes, tap classes, jazz classes, gymnastics, karate. I mean, you couldn't keep me still. I really had to move, otherwise, like, I would just explode. So
Yeah.
they put me in a lot of different physical activities, and I really appreciated that growing up. But in high school, that's when, kind of similar to Portia, like, I'd be watching music videos, and I'd see these backup dancers, and I'm just like, like, they look so cool. I just want to be like them, like, they just feel so confident and just, like, sexy and like I really wanted to be one of them and I didn't know how is necessarily, but there was in California dance teams are a really big thing, and so in high school, like literally I chose my high school, so I was like, that dance team is like the best out of all of them, so I want to go to that. My mom was like, that's not a reason to
I
choose a high
love
school.
that.
It's essentially is a very good reason to
100%.
choose a high
100%.
school. And
I
so,
love
so
that.
I ended up joining the dance team all 4 years, and that's when I started exploring hip hop a little bit. I say exploring because we were not necessarily doing hip hop. I would say it's more like commercial dance, right? Kind of jazz funk
Yes.
situation, trying to like skim the surface of real hip hop. And we would hire choreographers to come in and they would teach us like bits of locking or bits of popping or bits of breaking. I'm like, oh, okay. So I started to kind of like
Cool.
get experience in it, but I was like, I feel like I need to go to New York where hip hop is from to like really, really sink my teeth into this whole art form. So
Yeah.
like your question of like how did I get to New York? Well, I basically was like after high school, I was like, sayonara everybody, I'm leaving. I'm going to New York and I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna become a professional hip hop dancer.
Oh my God,
So
amazing.
that was the beginning of getting over here to New York, and I've stayed ever since. I found H plus about 2 years into being in New York, one of my friends who I was in a dance club with, he was like, hey, you should come to this class. It's like an open class. It's every Friday, and so I went. It was like this 3 hour intense class, and I just like felt so alive and tired afterwards. I was like, this is what I've been like waiting for. So like
Yeah.
it was just like the rest was history after that. I was convinced after that first class. I was like, this is what I've been looking for, like real training. So yeah.
Yeah. That's the perfect transition because I would love to hear more about H Plus and just the whole organization and everything that you guys do over there, the training. I know that you put in your bio that you train under a technique. Is it Blade? Is that what?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
So
right.
I'm
We
so
did
in
research.
I'm trying. Yeah, okay, so tell me everything about because I haven't actually heard about or I didn't realize I had heard about H plus before. I had kind of heard, through the grapevines and through the social media, but I'd love to know more about the organization and everything that you guys do, especially for hip hop, and having a hip
Yes.
hop conservatory. Like, wow. And also, I mean, we could have a whole conversation about how a lot of the times when you say you're doing hip hop, you're not doing hip hop. So, which that is maybe some tea for another time. But I would love to know because you guys are training in hip hop, the foundations of hip hop, everything. Take it away. Tell me all about it as if I know nothing.
Yes. Well, thank you for asking that. Yeah, so, we, our organization started over 30 years ago, which is pretty,
Crazy.
yeah, it's a pretty impressive thing to say. We were not there 30 years ago, but our founder, Safi Thomas, he is our founder and artistic director. He started it in Harlem and the Bronx. And it was essentially, it started with youth. He would basically go door to door and be like, hey, does your child dance? Do they want to learn how to dance? And, he had a lot of experience already as an older teenager, choreographing music videos, dancing in, different, TV shows like MTV The Grind, like things like that. And, he wanted to share that with the community, and he felt like there wasn't a lot that, you know, youth could do. And so he wanted to create something for them, So it started off really as just like dance. And, I think he was saying that after essentially like, a bit of time, he realized, wait, if I'm going to really teach them dance, then I actually have to kind of not just think about the dancer they are, but also like the human, that they are, and what
Yes.
they need to be able to actually focus on dance, because a lot of times, like, especially because this was the 90s, this was like, the crack cocaine epidemic, had just kind of fizzled out, and a lot of these children, there was a lot of things that they were growing up in environment wise that they had to, essentially like navigate. And so, he incorporated, meditation, he incorporated a lot of dialogue about, different topics like HIV and AIDS, teen pregnancy, domestic violence, all these things that he felt like the youth would be able to become leaders for their community,
Mm.
and so that's why our technique is called the Blade Dance Technique, because it's Blade is building leaders through the advancement of dance education.
Oh,
Um,
I have chills.
yeah.
That's so powerful. I
Thank
love
you.
that. I love that.
Yeah. So the premise, for I think since then the premise has always been to put the human first before the dancer, because we're all human before we're dancers, and to take care of that human so that human can actually dance, healthfully and fully. And
What a
it's not really a
concept. It
concept.
shouldn't be so it shouldn't be so
I
radical,
know.
but it is, you
It
know?
is, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean that's been, the premise. And we've evolved. It was Black Diamonds Edutainment, Blade Dance Entertainment, the Blade Academy. We've had a lot of iterations of our organization, basically continuously shifting with the times and what it was calling for. But at the core of the mission was always like care for the community and preserving and evolving and proliferating hip hop dance, so
Mm.
ensuring that the people that are coming in and training, in what's now the conservatory, that they are focused on, the art form, persevering beyond even like our lifetime, and that is a responsibility that we make really clear from the beginning, like, hey, like, this is not just about like you learning the dance, but it's also like taking care of the dance itself, making sure it lives on, making sure it's advocated for, right? Because we have to do that, the dance is intangible, it lives in our body, so we have to figure out ways to make sure that, it sustains. So yeah.
Wow, I love that. What are some of your favorite projects that you guys have done, whether it's through H Plus or just on your own? I'd love to hear just some of your like favorite dance moments that you've had.
Wow.
I know that's really hard. You don't have to give it like favorite. It can just be like one of, so then it's like less pressure.
The favorite one out of all time. No.
Yeah. And everyone else was horrible.
Well, I have to say one of my favorite projects / productions that I was part of was dancing on the Rundown with Robin Thede.
Oh my gosh,
yes. It was a BET nightly show hosted by this incredible woman, Black woman who really advocates for other Black women to step in and take charge and be in power and have their voices at the table. And she brought myself along with 4 other Black women into 3 different shows we actually danced in. Yeah, 3 different sets that we actually danced in. Yeah, she couldn't get enough of the dancers. Because she wanted to bring like this strong, like powerful essence of dance and sexuality, and showing that Black women are strong and united together on stage. And hey, it was BET, so it was pretty cool.
Amazing. Oh my gosh, I love that. I need to look it up.
Yeah, it's great. You'll see Porshia and Yasmin in there going off.
It was so much fun, and the outfits were fire. Just have to say that.
Oh my god, amazing!
Yes.
When was this? What year? So I can do my proper research.
2018.
18, yeah, 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, 2018. What I really appreciated about this production was that they really took care of the dancers on the set. So, you
another
got to
radical thing that shouldn't be
another
radical.
Thing. Yes, you got to the rehearsal space. There was breakfast, snacks, lunch, water, endless bottles of water and snacks for us. There was constantly someone checking in on us to see if we were okay. Each dancer had their own hairstylist and makeup artist. And one thing that is extremely difficult for Black women in the entertainment industry is to have people come in and understand what we need for our hair, for our skin. So the fact that these makeup artists and hairstylists were willing to, really learn and understand what each dancer needed, it said a lot about how they curated the entire production.
Wow, that sounds like a dream. That's amazing.
It sounds like a dream. Oh no.
I know. It's like, I wish that wasn't so rare, but it mirrors so many stories of so many of my friends. So it's like, it's nuts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think, there's so much in H+, but just to kind of pull out of H+ for a second, I would say one of my favorite projects was Boogie Down to the Bronx Zoo. This was a collaboration between the Hip Hop Dance Conservatory, Windows of Hip Hop, which is a nonprofit org up in the Bronx that's doing similar work. They're, doing a lot of preservation work around hip hop with like Grandmaster Caz and Melly Mel. And then they also brought on Dynamic Rockers, a very legendary crew, straight out of New York City. And we just had so much fun at the Bronx Zoo. They literally put hip hop in the Bronx Zoo. It was so beautiful. So like we had a stage where we would perform, we would cypher, just freestyle to sounds of different live DJs. We teach a lot of the families and just everybody that came through. Like it was like hundreds, thousands of people that came through every day. We were there from like 9 a.m. to like 5 p.m. It was like it was like so beautiful. And then like near the seals was Grandmaster Caz, and he was teaching like animal rhymes. So like the kids would like write their own animal rhymes, and then he'd like put on a beat and they'd come up and like take his chain and like like
That is so cool.
it was so amazing. And then
That's
there was a
insane.
graffiti station where like, like people could learn how to like, tag and stuff. It was like really amazing. I mean, it was just so beautiful, and it was so amazing to like take everything that I've learned at H plus and be able to like apply it, in this really multifaceted experience where it's like performance, right? It's ciphering, it's, teaching, it's,
Yes.
group, getting
Yes.
groups hyped up and educating, about the art form, and like doing it with like actual, like all the pioneers was just like, it was
Crazy.
mind blowing. Like
That's
Grandmaster Caz is
insane.
literally,
I'm like,
taking
I've
me away
read
from
about
me.
these names. Like,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. I was before we share our craft, I actually wanted to know, or not know, but I wanted to ask you guys, for people who might not be so well versed in hip hop and the history. I was wondering if you could just share with the audience. Maybe just like the 5 pillars of hip hop. It's like super
Yeah.
basic, just so that people who might not have that kind of knowledge can just have a little mini lesson.
I love that. Thank you for asking that. That's such a good question. Yeah, so I mean, we always put knowledge on top for the 5 pillars of hip hop, just because without knowledge, you can't really, partake in any of the elements, of hip hop. Portia, do you want to do the others?
Oh, go for it.
Okay, yeah. So there's, DJing, MCing, graffiti, and, breaking, which, kind of expands to like a lot of the different foundations of hip hop dance, but breaking being like, from the South Bronx, 70s. Yeah, so those are the five elements that we would say of hip hop. Some people say there's a lot more, but that's kind of like what we start off with as like the foundation. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Oh, I love it. And
Yeah.
it's just so cool that it's like New York, and I'm just so excited to keep looking at all of the stuff that H Plus is doing, and it sounds like such an amazing organization. So I wanted to see. Oops, let me hide my feet. So let's do a little reveal of our creature that we created, and then we'll get to my next game. Okay, are you ready? Let's
Yes.
see what we've made.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
And reveal. Now pretend that my feet are here with
Actually,
you.
it matches pretty well.
Well, yeah,
I
Honestly.
love the colors. What, like, oh my gosh, I love this. This is like, I'm gonna have to like screenshot it and like put
What
it
is
so we can see. I feel like it needs a name. It's like, I don't even know. It's like is that a giraffe head with a
Like
dinosaur?
a rainbow soar, like some kind of like
Yes,
dinosaur.
a
Like,
rainbow soar. I love that. Oh my god, the hip hop rainbow soar. I love it. Of Deer Dance. It's the new mascot.
basically.
I love it. Amazing. Okay, so time for our first game. Let me get my little
Ooh.
oh, wrong
Man.
one.
Check you
Fancy.
out.
Would you rather? Here we go.
We're in the
Amazing.
club.
We need to have as much pretending like we're back in regular life as possible. But so I'm gonna pick, and so for anyone who's watching live, feel free to comment, or if you are listening to the audio version of this, definitely message us on Instagram and let us know. If you are watching the replay, comment what you would rather, because I love to see what people pick. So let me randomly pick some. All right. Would you rather never be able to open your mouth or have parrot feet for ears?
Parrot feet for ears. I'm trying to visualize those.
I would have to go with parapet for ears. I feel like not opening my mouth sounds really, really challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Same for me.
yeah. I think I'm
Yeah.
also
But, like-
in that. I know that it would be a look.
It
Imagine you
would.
could have so many earrings on each toe.
I was just thinking, I was like, I could say it is an earring.
Exactly. I'm sure they've made earrings that look like parrot's feet. So maybe that's gonna be the new
I'm
craze in
sure.
2022.
I'm sure.
Okay.
I know, right? We called it.
Yeah, we're actually fortune tellers here. Okay, next one. Would you rather have to crawl everywhere like a lizard, or have to spell out words when you speak instead of being able to say complete words?
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Okay. I would have to say spell out words when I speak instead of saying complete words.
Uh-huh.
I would do the opposite. I would rather crawl than do that.
I know. I
That
might have to
sounds
pick
so
crawl.
tedious.
I might have to pick crawl also because I'm a miserable speller. So I would be like so slow
Such a
getting
curse.
it. Yeah, it would be a curse for me. Okay, last one of these. Would you rather have toes for fingers or never be able to leave your house? One of them, we kind of know what it's like.
I know, right?
Actually, for me, I kind of know what both of them are like. Honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, my toes are very long.
Probably good for dancing though. So toes for fingers. I mean, sure, I'll take that. I gotta leave my house. I can't just.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and like it's okay to have like just. Well, I have long toes, so if my toes were my fingers, it would be pretty much the same.
You would balance out essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. Okay, well, I would love to talk about your passions outside of dance. I would love to know. I know that Yvonne, you work at the UN. You do stuff with the UN with sustainability and all of it. Like, tell me all of this. Like, that is just like when do you guys have time to do other stuff? Because you're doing so many cool things in the dance world. Tell me all your passions. Tell me about H Mart. Tell me. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Yeah. You want to go for sure?
Yeah. So, some of my passions outside of dance, I really enjoy connecting with people. I call myself a person who loves to be on the ground floor doing a lot of personal and professional work, going out and meeting different people, going out and talking to different people. What's really unique about that is that it always seems to kind of coincide with the professional side because, you can pretty much tell a dancer, or someone who's leading a community, just by looking at the way that they walk onto the train platform or walk into a store or how they regard a manager. There's a very particular rapport that we have. There's a way that we hold our bodies, the language that we use, how we regard other people. So those kind of like all, kind of come together in different moments. And, it's really a pleasure for me just to kind of like go out and, just really engage with the community in different ways, understand, what's a new great thing that's just been popping out of the pandemic? What are people really interested in now that we're living in a post-pandemic world? Where are the new creatives that have been really working on their craft throughout lockdown? What have they started to build, now that we're kind of getting back to a new normal? So those are definitely some things that I've really engaged in and have really loved to like, put my entire self into, during this time.
I love that.
Yes. You're a really good connector, Porshia.
Thank you.
She's just like magical. She's like sparkles as she walks around. Passions. Well, food is a big one for me, I have to say. I think being Chinese American, I mean, like, food is like what we like surround our love, our family, our socialization around. And like during the, like the height of the pandemic, like I really, like I was missing home so much. I hadn't seen my family, and I just I have not delved into cooking very much. I really relied on a lot of, other people cooking for me, whether that's takeout or, great friends who you live with. But I really challenge myself to get into cooking, not just for like making the food, but also for connecting with my culture, for connecting with, my ancestors, and, a lot of just like the experiences that I had growing up, where my grandparents were just like, my grandmas were amazing cooks, and they just like would throw down in the kitchen, and you're just like, it's better than any meal you'd ever eat at a restaurant. And you're just like, you're like searching for it, you're just like, where is that, that kind of like, just like soulful, like love, right? That you get from the food, that's sustaining you, not just like through food, but like through like your full like nourishment of self, right? So I think that's been a big thing recently that I've stepped into, and hopefully people have benefited from what I've created.
It's been really good. I've been one of the benefactors, so it's been really, really good.
Thank you,
Yes,
thank you.
but I have to add something onto that. I think, in addition to the cooking comes like the experience that Yvonne creates with it, because it's not just like, hey, a big meal just, slapped on a dinner table, but she'll set up the patio, we'll have music, we'll have candles, like it's an entire like experience that you would just see in like on a New York City street that she brings to the table.
Ooh, it's true. I feel like from what I've learned about you guys both, it's like you don't just do something one little like, I'm gonna do it. Like you put your whole body, your whole experience,
Yes.
and I think that is such a perfect, that's why I do this show, because I think that to have a full life, you should put your whole self into it. You should do a
Yes.
ton of different things. Like you don't have
Agreed.
to have blinders on all the time, and
Yes.
it helps grow all the different aspects of your life when you're really going out into all those other passions. It helps all the aspects grow. It's just like when they
Yeah.
say when one person succeeds, it doesn't mean we fail. It's the same with
Right.
just in yourself and your
Yeah.
passions. Like
Yes.
everything grows when you grow in one area. So I
That's
love
so
that.
true.
Very true.
Yeah, and I think what I appreciate is that like Portia and I are on the same wavelength when it comes to like for instance, if we're like doorstep dance mart, right? We're like there in the archway like setting up, and we'll just be like, no, that doesn't look right, or like, okay, we need to switch this around, or like, we just have a way of really wanting everything to be like very high quality, and just like an aesthetically pleasing experience, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're dancers, like that's what we, like we appreciate things that look good, that look, beautiful, that are inspiring, right? And so like I just feel like, being in all these different like programs where we're like, building out for the community, like I've just always appreciated how Portia and I are on the same page with that, and we're just like, nope, we're not going to settle for just like kind of putting it out there, willy-nilly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, well, perfect transition. Let's talk about, is it Doorstep Dance Mart? Is that the official
Yes,
name?
Doorstep Dance
Okay.
Mart.
I have heard about this. I'd seen it. I've seen people post about it. But I thought it was too good to be true that dancers could go somewhere and get free food and groceries. And I would love to know more about this. It is so needed. I mean, especially the work you did during the pandemic. Like, how did this start? How does it run? What is it? Tell the world, because they need to know.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. So the precursor to Doorstep Dance Mart is actually Dance Mart. This was a program that opened in December 2015, Christmas time. I remember that Christmas ambiance, and our artistic director and founder saw that dancers' needs weren't being met, with low income jobs, and not making enough money in the industry, and he wanted to really create something very unique, catered to dancers, because hey, we work really hard. We work really hard between productions and rehearsals and performances and so much. So he decided to create a food market for dancers, and it turned into Dance Smart. And he really wanted to kind of create elements that were very much different than other distribution sites where dancers or people would even go to get their food and groceries, if they weren't making enough money or making ends meet on a regular basis. So
Right.
He brought in a live DJ. He brought in a selfie station. We brought in different amazing sponsors and supporters like Chipotle and Shake Shack and Harmless Harvest
Trader
and
Joe's.
Trader Joe's.
All our favorites.
All the good stuff that
Amazing.
you see on the shelves at Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and Target and your favorite stores. But you always had to make that decision. Do I spend the extra $2 to get the good brand of coconut water, or do I get
product placement?
Yeah.
Sponsor us.
Do I get the shelf brand, because it's like $2 left,
Yeah.
So we really wanted to kind of create that space where dancers can come in and pretty much get, what they need to thrive in this industry.
Yeah. And so then when the pandemic hit, obviously we couldn't run the program anymore.
Yeah.
We were running it every month, once every month for 5 years. And
Wow.
and then everything just stopped, and it was just like really it was challenging for us because we really wanted to support the community during this very, very harsh time. But like because of, you know, a lot of the COVID restrictions with like, you know, social distancing and not being able to hold events, like there was just no way for us to get, you know, these goods. And also even a lot of sponsors, they were struggling too.
Yeah.
Like some of them, their businesses closed down during the pandemic. So it was, we had to really like kind of sit together with our team and say, okay, we got to scale up. We have to respond to the fact that this pandemic is challenging us to think about the fact that there might be a time in the future again where we can't hold an event, and how would we be able to still aid dancers, you know, in their general well-being, right? And so that was when the idea of Doorstep Dance Mart came about, where we're like, let's actually build out a grocery delivery service so that regardless if there's a pandemic happening, we can get those groceries to the dancers, right? So we you know, built out, you know, this next, I guess you would say like it's kind of an evolution of Dance Mart, right? Same concept, giving food and groceries, but how can we make it, you know, get it to the next level? So, you know, we started thinking about, okay, how do we get even just more groceries to dancers, period? Let's do like, instead of 2 weeks, 1 month's worth of groceries, you know? Well, now they're carrying 1 month of groceries. Let's get them Lyft rides home so that they don't have to like lug it all on the train, right? Let's get them menstrual products, because that's a big thing that also is really expensive, that technically, you know, well, I feel like women shouldn't have to pay for it, you know? Like, so we're like, let's get that, you know? So we just thought about how to start leveling up. And so, you know, the beta launch was on July, you know, at Dumbo Archway, and it was just the beginning of kind of getting to this delivery service, you know, and kind of starting off the process of getting the, you know, the services back to the community, fundraising, continuously fundraising, and working towards that larger vision of, you know, getting trucks and delivering the food and all that good stuff. So that's what COVID-19 did to us. We were like, well, this is not going to stop us. We got to figure out how to make it better.
Amazing. So, that is so incredible. Like, it's so true, and I love that that's like one of the foundations that H plus, you know, taking care of the dancer's body, and that should be something that we're taught. And it's so often in all aspects of the dance world, it can be really easy to not take care of yourself in so many different ways. But, you know, in terms of having to look a certain way, and you know, having to look at yourself all the time, and then, you know, the money aspect, it's like we're really fighting an uphill battle. So it's amazing that you guys are able to do it, because you can't dance if you are not nourished and alive to dance. So like that should be baseline, but it's so difficult. So that is incredible. So when is the next event? Like, what is in the future of this? How can people get involved?
Yeah, definitely. So we're looking to do our next one near Thanksgiving. We're shooting for Saturday, November 20th. So the weekend before, so people can get their, you know, their turkeys and their fixings and everything, so they can kind of prepare their, you know, Thanksgiving meals with their friends or family. And yeah, like more details to come about it. You know, we're very excited to announce. Yeah, like we're going to have probably a new location and stuff like that. So we're kind of like, you know, looking at it like a pop-up, you know, like trying to figure out between the seasons, since we want to serve everybody. We don't want to just make it indoors, because then again, those who aren't vaccinated, you know, can't come, and we want to make sure everybody gets access. So we're trying to, you know, just maneuver and work with the fact that we're in a really interesting, ambiguous time, and we got to adapt. So so Thanksgiving, we'll see everybody.
So amazing. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, it's time for our next game. Let me get the proper little...
Uh-oh.
Oh,
love that.
Oh, technical problem. So this next game is not necessarily a game. It is more of like a mystery. I'm going to pick one card from each little category here, and then we will see what you get. If you would like to veto any of the questions, feel free, but they shouldn't be too crazy. A lot of them, I always say, are from a website called Questions to Ask Your Dad. I just was searching for questions, and this website, shout them out. They have a lot of great questions on there, applicable to all types of people, even if you're not a dad. So,
that is
or if you're a zaddy, like, it all works, you know. So, all right. Pick a color.
I'm gonna have to go with purple. It's my favorite.
I'll go
Me
with
too.
orange.
Okay, well, we'll do purple first and then orange, but you can both answer.
Okay.
Okay. Ooh, if you could send a message to the entire world, what would you say in 30 seconds?
Oh my gosh.
You can send a
Oof,
message
the
to the
pressure.
entire world. What would you say in 30 seconds? Don't hide your magic. You're all magical. Don't hide it. Let it be seen. People deserve to see it.
I love that.
That's my message.
Love it.
I would say care for yourself is connected to care for your community, and to be kinder to people and more understanding and empathetic, because we don't know what everybody's stories are. So just, be aware of that as you're, connecting with people on a daily basis.
Those are two amazing messages. I wish we could broadcast that right now. Okay. Yeah, I know. I need to get my loudspeaker out again. Ooh, okay. So orange, the next one. Do you believe in ghosts?
Okay, I'm gonna say that not in like the Western idea of ghosts, where it's like this like white sheet with like black eyes, right? Like Halloween's coming up, so
Casper's coming up.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there's some kind of essence, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
That's how I would put it.
Yeah. Similar response.
Yeah.
I do feel that there's some essence, some spirituality-ness surrounding me / others / the world that is kind of moving with the ebbs and flows of where our minds and our hearts are at.
Yes, 100%. Okay, which one's next? Pink or blue?
Pink?
I'll
I'm
take
looking at
blue.
Porshia's pink lipstick, so I was like, pink?
What is the weirdest dream you've ever had?
Oh my gosh. I've had so many.
Are you a big dreamer?
I'm a big dreamer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say one. So Lisa Frank, I'm sure Haley, you have to know Lisa Frank.
Oh yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
I was so
Glitter,
obsessed.
unicorns,
Yes.
notebooks, everything. I had everything.
Yes. I was
love it.
obsessed with Lisa Frank. So one time I had a whole dream where I was in a Lisa Frank world.
Wow.
It was beautiful. So colorful. It was like, looked like this, like really vibrant,
Yeah.
right? And then I'm in a river in a boat, and I'm paddling the boat, and behind me is Mr. Rogers from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I watched him so much as a kid, Mr. Rogers, but it wasn't him. It was like a paper like cutout of him, and he's just like moving left and right. I'm just like paddling this boat down the river in a Lisa Frank world.
That is amazing.
It was amazing. It
Oh
sounds
my
like I
God.
tripped on something, but I didn't. I literally just had a dream.
That's amazing. I've had a dream in a Dr. Seuss world, so I'm there with you. And then there was like a
Yes.
war with construction cranes were fighting each other. So I'm on the same level
That
as
sounds like
you.
an interesting
I love
film.
it. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
What about you, Portia? Any weird dreams?
Weird dreams. I once had this dream that I went to a Beyonce concert. I had a VIP pass, and
Ooh,
when I got
yes.
to the VIP section, she came out to get me personally.
Yes,
And
let's
she
go.
took me through the Coliseum. She was introducing me to every single person on her entourage and saying, whatever she needs, give it to her.
Yes.
No exceptions.
Can we make that come true?
Yeah.
That's
Right?
amazing.
Yeah.
I love
Just
that.
make sure I'm +1 and Haley's your +2.
Yeah, we'll be
I
there.
got you.
Yeah, I just need a media badge. Like, I'm good.
She's good. She's going to cover the entire
You like
experience.
Dear Dance? I'm here.
Yeah. You know, the podcast that everyone knows the name, even me, I swear I know the name. Okay, last question of these. What do you want more than anything else in life?
Wow.
Just a simple question, really.
Super casual. Do you want to go or you want me to go?
You can go first.
Okay.
So go. Okay.
Well, I think what I'd say is I'd love for people, like everybody in the world, to have a stronger sense of self-understanding. and self-compassion, because I feel like if we did, then many of the troubles that we have in this world wouldn't be here. And it's like just focusing more inward and taking care of ourselves so that we can, emulate that outward towards others. So that's what I would say.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. On a similar wavelength, I would love for people to really understand how much power that they have. One of my gifts, I can look at a person and see like what they could be if we really worked through some of the fears, the insecurities, and the different complex layers that are there, like what they could accomplish
Yeah.
in their personal and professional life. How they could be like walking down the street just like looking so badass in the lawn. And I think that people have power. They just kind of mask it with a lot of different things and feelings and experiences. But like, what would happen if we just like release that? Just like Iron Man, just release the power, and let the world see it. Like, how much more can we accomplish, on so many different scales? It's definitely what I want for myself and everyone around me.
Definitely.
I love those answers. Okay, well, the last question, what brings out your most creative self?
What brings out my most creative self?
Okay, I would have to say, for me, well, I think this is like for everybody, but being relaxed, obviously. But I don't know if it's as obvious as it sounds, but I mean, like being present with yourself, right? Like being relaxed, like, relaxing into yourself. But then I think I would also say, like, being with my family, which it sounds ironic because if anybody knows me, I have a lot of, things I got to work with my parents, but I would say returning home to California and being with my family, it really rejuvenates me in a lot of ways. When I dance, every time I come back, I have like new grooves in my body. Like I want to express myself differently. And I think it's because I took some time to go back to where I came from and like kind of remember and respect and kind of embrace it. And then that helps me to sort of remember, okay, so where are you now? And how does that all connect together? And not like being like, that was my past self and this is like the new Yvonne, right? But like it all made who I am. So like that I think always kind of brings out a lot of creativity in me, for sure. Yeah.
Nice.
For me, what brings out my most creative self? Eliminating the idea that rejection is an option.
Yes. Haley's like,
the moment that I put the idea that someone is going to say no to this vision that I have or this big ask that I'm going to, do or something that I'm wishing for, the moment that I take that out of my mind and like don't have it as an option up here, the creativity and how this vision starts to manifest just grows and grows and grows, and ideas come out, and I start, sending messages to Yvonne saying, Yvonne, we should do this, or Yvonne, like, I want to wear this outfit with, this pair of shoes, and like, it's just going to look so amazing, or Yvonne, like, let's just like walk into this place and just kind of like conquer the entire world. The moment that like I let go of this idea of no, just my creativity just kind of bursts out of nowhere, and the possibilities of just being empowered in myself and really illuminating that value to the world just kind of comes out and explodes in so many different ways. So great that like people see it and they want to be a part of it too.
I love that. Those are two answers that I haven't gotten yet after 42 interviews. So I love
42,
that.
Geez.
Yes.
42 in season 1. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Haley is doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing. Well, how can people get in touch with you? How can they be a part of your amazing world that you are building?
Yeah. Well, I guess the first way is our website, hdcny.org. That's where you can find a full listing of, as Haley was saying earlier, all the things that we do, So it's like there's a conservatory where you can, train to become a professional hip hop dancer and choreographer and master teacher. There's, a repertory company where we're able to like put on concert dance, hip hop as concert dance. And we have our services, like Dance Smart and Pimp My Style and spas. So there's a lot of different kind of aspects to, choose from in H plus. It's a little world in a world. Even the UN, as Haley was saying, we advocate, for dancers at the UN. Portia and myself go there, and we speak to a lot of ambassadors and global leaders about what dancers are going through, here in New York City, but also in the world, and remind people that dancers are humans. They're part of, human rights, and we're not separate, right? So anyhow, just know that all of that information is on our website, so you can, basically
Amazing.
Get lost in it, kind of seeing, all the avenues towards, uplifting and caring for dancers, really, right? So it's all moving towards the same thing. We're also on Instagram.
Yes, for the Gen Xers.
Yes, at Hip Hop Dance Conservatory. Yes, you see our handles down there. Thank you, Haley, for putting them there if you want to just connect with Portia and me. But yeah, I mean, we're slowly building, back up out of the pandemic and just starting with the services. But our conservatory will open again soon, next year, for people to apply, to become apprentices and learn under Portia, myself, and our whole team how to be, like a full dance executive leader extraordinaire, right? That's kind of what we're,
Full title.
They can be badass dancers, choreographers, they can create amazing theater productions, they can build out services for the dance community. Like, we do it all here, so we invite anybody to join in on the fun that we have.
Yeah.
Amazing. Definitely everyone check that out. I'll make sure that all the links are in the description below, and when this audio version of the podcast comes out, all the links will be there as well. If you would like to connect with the show, it's a little tricky right now because apparently you can't change an Instagram name until 14 days after you've given it up. So I thought I could do a little switcheroo. So right now, even though the show is called the Dear Dance, you can follow the show at Dancers Doing Stuff, our old name, but it will eventually be Dear Dance. So, whenever you're watching this, it could be a fun experience to find the Instagram. And if you would like to connect with me, you can always follow me at Haley Grove on Instagram. And then if you would like to support the show, definitely check out the Patreon. I'm going to be changing some things up now that we are in the Dear Dance world, but something that's staying is I'm hoping that once we get to 100 patrons, I'll be able to start the Dream Dance Grant program, where I will be donating $1 per patron to a dancer who has a creative project that needs help being funded. So the more patrons we have, I'm really excited. I haven't been very great at promoting it, so I'm trying to do better. But once we get to 100 patrons, then we'll be able to give $100 to a dancer every month who has, it depends, and the more we grow, the more we can give away. But, studio space is expensive. Paying your dancers is important. Feeding your dancers is important. There's so many ways that we can help dancers as a whole and as a community, just building and creating and staying creative, because who knows what that could bring to the world. So check out all of these things, and this was the best first episode back that I could have asked for. I love our little creature.
Yes,
we made some real, our Rainbowsaurus, like, we really killed it, honestly. Like, we're famous, so amazing. Thank you so much for being here, and have a great night. Hopefully I'll see you guys in person soon.
Seriously, yes. We'd love to see you at the next Dance Mart.
Yes, I'll be there. I'm gonna be there. Amazing. Bye, everyone.
Bye.